Start recording. Hello, I'm Elite Spud. I've been speedrunning this game for like 4.5 years, apparently. That snuck up on me somehow. I'm playing Luigi's Mansion, obviously. If you've seen this game, you recognize this. But if you have seen this game before, there might be a little bit of differences from what you remember, especially if you're not from Europe, because this is the PAL version. If you notice the category, we've got a lot of modifiers over on the category. Any percent is like, at this point, like a 7-minute run, something like that. It's really, really short. No out of bounds gets it into a more reasonable like time of an hour, where you're not just going straight to the final boss. So we're going to take a pretty honest route through the game. Not going to skip pretty much anything, like sequence-wise, in no out of bounds. But the PAL modifier on this category is important because in the European version, when you beat the game once, you unlock the hidden mansion, which in every other version just makes the vacuum twice as fast, and in English it gives you double damage, like Taken, so it's kind of like a hard mode. But in PAL, it's a proper hard mode. It's really like a New Game Plus, where they throw you into a totally different, not layout of the mansion, but they throw all kinds of different ghosts at you, so the patterns in all the rooms are different. And for some reason, they mirrored it left to right and also made it darker, like twice as dark or something. So don't adjust your monitor, that's just what it looks like. It's really hard to see sometimes. It's very, very difficult. This is probably one of the hardest categories we have on the leaderboards, and it's not to be underestimated. It's quite easy to die at the end of the game. I'm going to be getting also 45 boos throughout the run instead of 40. If you're familiar with the other any percent no out of bounds category in NTSC versions of this game, we only need 40 boos. We're going to need 45 here, and because they adjust all the boo healths, we're going to be taking a weird route through this game that's really not used in any other category, because the exact boos we need include some optional rooms that we usually don't have to clear. So it's a good time. Hopefully we don't run into too many mushrooms. I've also done a glitch beforehand. It's going to skip some like key pickup animations, like when I get the key for any kind of room, it's going to try to open the map and show me where the key goes. But it disabled that through a little glitch we call map glitch beforehand. Basically it saves maybe a minute over the course of the run because we pick up a lot of keys, and that takes a couple seconds every time. So free time save. 3, 2, 1, go. Let's get into it. So I'm going to pick that hidden mansion option. Also, I have not picked the French version. That's not really a big deal for this. French version is slightly faster. Sometimes my game remembers if it's French, sometimes it doesn't. So we're going to be able to read the words this time. French is mostly, actually entirely just due to text. Japanese is slightly faster, but we don't have access to the Japanese language in this version, so we can't just pick it. We have like French, Italian, German, Spanish, English, and I think that's it. German is the slowest. English isn't too bad, I believe. There's no like language-specific glitches or anything, because it's all the same version. So right off the bat, we're going to see this guy. That's normal. That guy normally shows up over here. I don't care about money because this is an any percent category. Then this next guy, he's pink. Normally there's not a pink guy in here. Purple punchers usually spawn in the second room. And then over here is the this blue ghost, a blue twirler. Those usually show up in area 4. And that is in the first room. So if that's an indication of what this is going to be like, buckle your seatbelts. It's only going to get crazier from here. So we're already up to the first, like, difficult thing of the run. We're going to have to try to get a really tricky triple here. Nice. Do a quick sidestep. Don't get hit by those mice. Those mice are also not normally here. Then we're going to see grabber ghosts in here, and they're not even visible. Get this guy first. The cycle starts when you get this guy in the wardrobe. And that kickstarts these grabbers that, normally only show up in the mirror, so you're introduced to them in the mirror room, appropriately. But now there's only one mirror in this room. So it's a lot trickier to see where they are. We're speedrunners, though. We know exactly where they are. And you'll notice I got hit once. And already have, now twice, 76 health left. Because the double damage from the English version is also featured in this version. And it adds up. because we take a lot of intentional damage. Like in that room, we do some intentional damage to get the grabbers into like a group. You can set up your own doubles, and doubles are faster because the rooms are cycle-based. And the faster we can clear the cycle, the faster we can get to the next one. And intentional damage helps us in a lot of cases, both to like get iframes to dodge bigger damage and all kinds of stun like animations and stuff, but also to set up doubles and other various things. So we really need to get our hearts and make sure we're managing our health carefully. And that's kind of hard because one of the other features of the PAL Hidden Mansion is that hearts spawn much less frequently. And they also only spawn with 10 HP like values instead of 20. You don't get 20 HP hearts in this game, or in this version. All the portrait ghosts are unchanged, so Neville there is pretty much identical to the NTSC version. This whole corridor is not too bad because it's all portrait ghosts. So we're just going to clean up some of this. The way we run the PAL version, just to make it more accessible to people, eliminates lag. This is one of the laggiest rooms in the game, in other versions of the game. But fortunately, I don't have to deal with that, and we actually get to do some different strats in some rooms than if we had the lag. We would manage it more carefully, but we can be a little more risky and go for things that are probably harder to time with immense amounts of lag, and it's actually worse in the PAL version if you run it on original hardware, because there's more ghosts in the room, so the laggy rooms are usually more laggy. Do a little trick here. Sound cue to shoot Chauncey there with the ball. Shooting him from this corner of the room skips his first dialogue box. He never talks to you when he shows up, so you save a couple seconds doing that. And here's another area where the PAL version differs from the other versions, is in the boss fights. The boss fights are all changed in some general way. Some of them are quite radical, some of them are not really that important, or not that impactful, especially for speedrunning. Chauncey's kind of in the middle, not too big of a deal here. Of the 4 boss fights, I'd say he's like the second least changed. So one off, we're mirrored, so we're on the left side this time. And the horses that spawn are going to be much larger, and the path they take is going to be all wiggly and swoopy. So dodging them is quite hard. I'm going to do a different setup here to catch the ball quickly. Not too different, though. There's a frame-perfect trick there that I almost had. I did it in practice just like 6 minutes ago. He also bounces really fast too, which is kind of funny. Dodging these horses. We're going to have the slow 2 cycle. If I hit the frame-perfect trick, I wouldn't have had to watch all this. Could have skipped straight to the key animation. One cycling Chauncey is a whole involved ordeal. Saving my iframes here. Didn't block the ball. I'll explain that trick a little more in detail during the cutscene. We're done with Area 1. EGAT's going to talk to us for a long time. For marathons, I like to point out that this is a great time for donations. But I'm going to use the time to talk more about the technical aspect of what just didn't happen. So I could have saved about 30 seconds there if I had done a double frame perfect trick. As soon as Chauncey tries to forcibly break you off, because Chauncey has a timer when you start sucking like his health away. And unlike pretty much every other ghost in the game, he just decides, I'm going to forcibly break you off. It doesn't matter how well you're tapping the stick away, it doesn't matter how well you're holding the right direction, like, he's just going to forcibly stop letting you do damage. And other ghosts, there is another ghost that does that. It's Bogmire, which is the next area boss ghost, but Bogmire's timer isn't nearly as restrictive. Chauncey was the bane of speedrunners for years because one cycling Chauncey was thought to be impossible. You just couldn't do enough damage before he forcibly broke you off. But if you trick the game by releasing the R trigger, normally the vacuum, on the frame he's supposed to forcibly break you off, and then pressing the R trigger again, the frame after that, the game thinks you never let go. And you can do that last like 10 or 12 health that normally you couldn't. And because the GameCube triggers are quite bulky, it is rather difficult to do that. Looking up in the hallways pretty much all the time because there's stuff that spawns in the ceiling if Luigi gets scared. I'm probably going to get scared by one at some point because there's so many of them. If Luigi gets scared, he has like an animation of just staying in place, and we don't want him to stay in place. We want him to move. Got 3 of these guys in here, and these guys do damage. Still had iframes. I'm going to bump that guy, so he's going to stay alive, or around. Didn't have to do a slow 2 cycle there. So my attempt counter is only at 2 successful attempts and 4 actual attempts of this category. I do play any the 100% version, or the 100% category in the PAL version. So most of the skills transfer. I'm going to be skipping a couple things that I'm used to, and especially in Area 3 and beyond, it's going to start getting a little weird for me. I have to remember where to go. So normally this room isn't too changed, except there's flying things all over the place. And those things can just hit you in the middle of trying to get the Shy Guys and ruin your suck up. Gonna clear them all out before the boss fight here. That's good. Okay, I don't care about that money. There's a 10% or a 50% chance to save 10 seconds here. Am I lucky? Yes, I am. Sometimes they'll just show their heart early, sometimes they won't. Okay, this is one of the rooms that's significantly changed between the 100% route and mine, because I don't need the money ghost in here, so I'm going to have to do something different, which I have not practiced much of. Nice! Got that triple. That triple's the hard part, because normally I do something different at the start. Now it's the same. So we're going to try to set up as many doubles here. It's going to get really chaotic on cycle 3, but I'm going to try to do something right before cycle 3 by getting in the corner over here and doing our trusty poster skip. Listen for the sound. Right there. That sound is be important later. Right now we're going to cross our fingers and hope a garbage can ghost gets close to us. Don't trip on the banana peels, Luigi. Okay, he got scared out of it. Nope, he got slipped anyway. Okay. These guys are really, really annoying. The PAL version loves to spawn garbage can ghosts in groups of like 3 and 4. And they're not too big of a deal on their own, but en masse, they just throw so many bananas, it's so hard to catch them. And Luigi slips on banana peels with everything except his feet. So if you like have the banana peel coming into the vacuum and it's slightly off, it'll just trip him. Speaking of the poster skip, there's not a poster on this button, which means I can just go up and press it. Normally there's a poster stuck on the wall and you have to spend time like pulling the vacuum out and pulling it off the wall before you can press the button. But the fake wall that eventually moves backwards is just so close. It's barely close enough to that button that you can kind of wedge yourself against the wall and get Luigi to like lock on to the poster and pull it off early. And we just saw a whole lot of boos come out of the floor. They were hiding in there. I don't know really why they're hiding in there, because they made the mansion. They don't need to hide. King Boo even has his own lair in the basement. But Egad's going to give us a lot of exposition that I can actually read this time, because it's in English. And he's going to set us back loose in the foyer. We're going to do a little bit of backtracking in order to catch some boos for him. He needs us to catch 5, after which he'll unlock a door for us. I think in lore it's not him unlocking the door, it's a toad stuck in the bathroom, because we're making the mansion safer. So right off the bat, boos are gonna be a pain in the butt because... Oh, it spawned on the far left. There's a random aspect to the boos, so I don't know which piece of furniture the boo is in. I know which ones it can be in. Not much beyond that, and you'll notice that this guy's 150 health, and he is being a real pain in the butt right now. Okay, he went up. Normally 150 boos show up in Area 4. We're getting one in the first room, because the game is just real mean like that. And these next couple aren't going to be so bad, but there's a couple really, really annoying ones. They are a lot faster in this version, too, so that guy had 150 HP. I'm getting really unlucky with my finds. And it's fast, so it's really hard to accurately get 150 HP off of that boo. This one's rather slow. Later in the game, we have some that it goes so fast they clip out of bounds. So there's a 50% chance every time I knock on a furniture with something in it, the radar will tell me whether there's something in it or not. So whether it's flashing yellow or red when I'm near it will inform me whether it's actually got a boo in there. Sometimes it'll have a fake in there, and there's no way for me to tell with the radar alone. I have to tap it to find out. We're not going to go back to that Area 1 hallway, because we need 5 boos, and there's 2 over here, and we're going this way anyway. We'll be back to that Area 1 hallway later, where the portrait ghosts were, because we have another reason to go back there later. So every time I find the fake, it is always a bad thing to find the fake first. It does not benefit me at all, almost ever. Sometimes it is useful information, but in terms of speed, I never want to find the fake first. There's various ways to manipulate the boos. The simplest one that I'm doing is R-pumping, which is where I'm keeping them in place. It's the most straightforward technique in this game, probably, besides tapping like to catch normal ghosts. R-pumping is like the advanced technique I always want people to learn first if they just ever want to replay this game in general, because catching boos sucks. It's not very engaging. There's not a lot of feedback on what you're doing wrong because it's just annoying. The boos kind of do what they want. And the basic goal is to keep them close to Luigi and close to the ground. And R-pumping helps keep them close to Luigi by preventing them from moving. There's also ways we can like pull them down to the ground a little easier. Get them to go where we want. I'll be watching like where they're looking to see if I can figure out where they're going to go. If I stop R-pumping. It's a lot that goes into it. Boos are one of the most nuanced things in this game. Got more grabber ghosts. You'll see me aiming the camera like through the first person Game Boy Horror view sometimes. That is to prevent Luigi from getting scared, so I'm going to spin. He's going to get scared there. But spinning... Oop, I did not get grabbed by the right one, and I'm going to have to do damage fast. Okay. I don't think I bumped that guy. No. If I get a ghost to 0 and it like starts going in the vacuum, I have iframes. So, it moved right out of my reach. Nope. It is over here still. Gonna do a trick here with a fancy little save quit. Let's get this guy on the other side of the fire medallion. Now I'm gonna suck that guy up, grab this. Now I technically am holding this. Egad's gonna call me. I'm gonna save, hold a button combo to quit. Now I have that medallion. I held it. I collected it. The game thinks I have it, and I saved, so I definitely have it, even though I don't get told how to use it. So now I can see fire ghosts now. I do have to go back that way to get a key with my newly found fire, but now I don't have to watch the tutorial or solve the puzzle in the mirror room. I never have to see that room again. Oh, I'm checking stuff just from muscle memory from 100%, which I do play quite more often. It's really dangerous to do that in PAL, because if you check stuff that you don't actually need to check, there's a chance that you spawn a mushroom. And here's our resident golden mouse, Angie, that we love. I'm going to catch Angie just for good time's sake. And also to illustrate that the PAL version for 100% changes a lot because golden mice spawn diamonds. I don't care about diamonds in this category, but they're worth 2 million gold, and it radically changes the route of 100%. It's really cool. It's kind of like, it really is like a fresh take on the game. If you've played it before, highly recommend playing the PAL version as an extra challenge, but also just like more of the good stuff. Oop, I did not do this room, right? Can I get my double like usual? Not grab the hand or the hat. Yee! Okay, we are in a pickle. I need the hand, or I need the hand. I need the hat. I can't do anything until Luigi's big. Okay, I'm gonna go straight into the butler's room because I got mushroomed there. I cannot clear this room fast enough. I'm normally trying to do stuff while he's moving in here. I want to leave that room open. Oh, hello, friend. If I go 2 rooms away from that, I'm going to reset it, so I'm going to have to go back in there before I go to my next target area. I'm going to get this key and just go straight back in there. It looks like the boo's up top and on the left, I would guess. I don't think it's on the right, so I'm going to keep that in mind. Get a little bit of information from the radar there. The reliable way to get hearts in the PAL version is to catch multiple ghosts at once. Every time you catch 2 or more ghosts at the same time, they always spawn hearts, so that's the main way I'm going to heal throughout the run. Finding random hearts is very time consuming. So if I'm ever low enough health where I have to do that, I'm going to lose so much time. Okay, I'm going to check this. This is the most likely place it is. Every spot a boo can be in is weighted, so sometimes they're just in places more often because they're coded to be that way. And sometimes I'll cheat towards certain areas of the room with that knowledge. Because I know it's like more likely to be in certain spots. So sometimes, like, you know, there's more spots to check in certain corners of the room. Like, the density is higher. Let's see if I can get my Shy Guy quad here. Oh, no. Okay, I'm at least gonna have a barbecue. Here's some more quacking. This is very slow. I'm gonna get the mask off of this guy, though, because catching the last ghost is faster than bringing him down. I don't need the money in here. I need the booze. Then over here. Cannot do the text skip when I catch the booze in this version. It's a Japanese exclusive glitch that you might have seen people do to go in the mouse hole as you're catching a boo. They fixed that in this version and the English version. So EGAD still calls this. Okay, this little corner of the area was not very clean. But we got all our booze, nobody got away, and we're moving on. A little worried about how much fire I have. I think I'm going to reload on fire before the room after the next one. Yee! Okay, yeah, the sparks. Not always sparks in these hallways in other versions of the game. One of the other changes that the PAL version does, it makes the explosions twice as big, so if it looked like I was nowhere close to that fire, that's probably because I was. Visually, the explosions can be very far away, and you can still get hit by them. If the spark is in a particularly bad spot, like right in the center of the room about to explode, you just have to wait. It takes less time to wait than to tank damage. Cool. She played the bad song because I have to do a menu here. She only has 2 songs. Good. Got all the music sheets that time. I've been messing that up. So the most likely 2 places in this room, like I mentioned, are here in the piano. Nope, that's not in the piano. I'm gonna... all the way over here. The worst possible spot it could be. This guy should not leave if I go for the key first. Couldn't get the key. Sometimes you can drag the key closer to the door if Luigi's facing the right way. After you catch the boo. I did not orient myself correctly, so I'm going to have to do a little walking. Now we're going to do our first weird route change over the NTSC any percent no out of bounds, because normally we just walk right past Mr. Lugs in here. Don't care about him one bit, because he is an optional portrait ghost. I do need more fire before I do this. But in the PAL version, I need 5 extra boos, and there's 5 optional portrait ghosts. And one of them is locked behind 2 optional rooms, one of which has a boo in it. So I can literally not afford to skip all of the optional portrait ghosts. So while he's throwing a fit in there, I'm going to be doing a bit of a tricky room here. Kitchen is very hard when I first started out. Right now it's a really good place to heal though, because it's not that bad. Make sure I keep my health up. I'm listening for Mr. Lugs in the background. I forgot my split. If he's doing... like if he's at the end of his cycle, I want to go back in there and catch him. And that's going to depend on how fast I went earlier, and also how easily I can find this boo. Nope. So I want the boo in Mr. Lugs' room. I don't care that I actually catch this guy. and I don't care about the money chest that he spawns there afterwards. I only want the boo, but this boo is hard to catch, so I'm going to leave this boo. Getting that room clear, though, takes a long time. So getting it out of the way while I'm clearing the kitchen is preferable. I did not extinguish the door, so I'm going to have to go wait for that to stop smoking after I catch this boo. Because you can't open it until it's fully extinguished. I tried to do that before I left the room, but it just didn't take. Here we go. I don't have to water this plant over here, but I like to do it for good luck and also to keep my muscle memory intact, because there's no reason to not do it. When ghosts go into the vacuum, I do try to wiggle the stick in a certain way to make them go in the vacuum faster. We call that a twirl. There's kind of rhyme and reason to it, but it's basically just flailing around. This is the only reliable double that I can get in the graveyard. Looks like I might... Nope, did not get blessed for the second one. Just try not to get hit by a bone. Come on, buddies! No. Skeleton hitboxes are very strange. They also don't drop hearts, so even though I got a double back there, I did not get a heart because skeletons don't, you know, don't have souls, apparently. But the real ghosts do. Not the skeleton ghosts. Alright, we're at the end of Area 2. This is Bogmire. Bogmire is our signal to hands off the controller because his spawn position is relative to where Luigi is. And there is a brief moment between that cutscene and this cutscene where you can move Luigi, and if you're touching the controller, you have a chance to do that, ever so slightly. And he won't spawn in his usual spot, which is in a very, very fortunate place. And Bogmire is not too weird in the PAL version if I can one cycle. If I can't, I might be in for a wild ride. Relatively favorable movement there. Bogmire does have a timer, like, where he just forcibly breaks off like Chauncey, but it's so much longer, you don't have to worry. Just controlling him is all you need to worry about. Bogmire does pull very, very hard, one of the hardest pulling ghosts in the game. So it's easy to lose them. Casual players usually don't get a 2-cycle, I would say. It's a good sign of getting good at this speedrun, is learning to one-cycle Bogmire consistently. I was one of the things that, when I learned, I started like I was feeling good. Or I was feeling like I was starting to get good. You have to understand quite a bit about catching ghosts in order to not lose him consistently. There's a couple other ghosts that are like that later in the game. I was thinking of Weston specifically as a really tricky one, that unless you understand how the ghosts move. The idea is to hold the stick opposite the way the ghost is moving, not where the ghost is relative to Luigi. So if it's north of Luigi but moving left, basically if the ghost is turned left and it wants to move left, you want to hold right even though Luigi is south of the ghost. And then we're doing some tapping motions in that direction repeatedly to do damage fast. I neglected to save there, but that probably was a good idea. You full heal after area bosses, so it's not that big of a deal. PAL is treacherous though, and I'm usually saving a lot. I do get a save prompt after every boo, so even though this is a hard category, it's quite marathon safe, I'd say, with all the saving. There's like the worst possible place to die is not even a couple minutes. And there's lots of... this is where you first get your backup heart. If I tap this, I get a big heart. That is a unique thing to the PAL version. Normally there's big hearts in like every area boss chest. Or sorry, like every area boss room right before the boss. So right before Bogmire there's usually a heart that heals 50 HP in one of the graves. And right before Chauncey, there's usually a big heart that probably a lot of people found in his dresser cabinet. And there's one in the cellar right before King Boo, and there's one before Boolossus in the Safari Room. All of those are gone in the PAL version. The only big heart that they left is the one in that statue in the courtyard, which you cannot access until Area 3. It's also quite out of the way from where we're going later. We only pass by that area generally like once later in the run. So if I'm hurt, going to get that heart is not convenient. Holding up the water here to avoid some dudes spawning in the trees. Scaring Luigi. Get that key and we're out. We're gonna clear this room. I don't need that money. I mentioned that we couldn't skip all of the optional portrait ghosts. We're actually going to catch 2 of them. And this is the other one. This is Biff, and he's not too much of a headache to get, because we have to get that key over in the corner of the room anyway. And we want his Boo, because there are way worse Boos later in the game that waste more time to catch than catching Biff does. So this guy only has 100 HP. He's not too bad. Get him close to the floor. And he's going down on top of that. No problem. I'm going to opt to save here. This is a one of the hectic parts of the game. Area 3 is quite difficult in this category. Nice. Heard that noise? I shot a water ball through the floor and extinguished this flaming door. That is entirely for swag in this category because we don't go in it automatically. Whoa! Blew up. Okay, there's 20 damage down the drain. So we can't go clear that tea room in PAL first because we need fire first. So I got fire, but I'm already right by here, so I might as well go to this room first. This cycle one here is a pain in the butt. Nope, did not get my double, so we're gonna go slow here. Got a free double, if I don't trip. Got him, okay. That was a pretty good one. Sometimes you don't get a backup double, so that's pretty equivalent to like an average room, I'd say. Nice, got all 4. That quad is kind of tricky as well. This is the easiest of the cycles, but I can still get punched here if I'm not careful. Flame that guy one more time. I think I got him. Cool. That was a really good astral haul for me. Ah. This Boo is very fast. We do not mess around with this Boo. We are pumped very quickly to prevent it from moving. Because on PAL, like, you can't afford sometimes to R-pump exactly at every 10 HP, which is the ideal rhythm. Sometimes the Boos move so fast that in the brief moment between, like, the 10 HP R-pumps, they move too far away from Luigi and just, like, kind of jump away or can jump up and jump out of the vacuum stream and escape entirely. So for the tricky ones, we really want to be careful. Because that guy going out in the hall is big disaster because it can go into a room we don't want to go back into. Got a visual cue for that. Really good split overall. And we're about to go into a very hard room. Astral Hall is a difficult room, but I usually don't take too much damage in it. It's more of an annoying room to clear. The next room is full of damage, though. There is an an intentional damage strat that I do to clear it faster in Cycle 1, and Cycle 2 is just pure madness. Where you really want to have enough fire to get the job done, and I'm gonna be fine, I believe. When you have an element, you can also, going from a lit room to a dark room, do this. And pull out your vacuum a little faster than usual, avoiding Luigi's animation. Particular spot. Want to spawn all 4 of these guys. I'm going to double. These guys are going to meet in the middle, and I'm going to take intentional damage. Pair them up. Cool. And I'm very high health here. Want to get those guys around. Gotta spawn that shy guy and do the same thing over here. Have to be using your vacuum to spawn that shy guy. They only spawn like if you're actively vacuuming. Using very little fire here on purpose. Cool. That was a really good room. Very clean. Now we have our ice medallion, and we needed fire for that room because the white ghosts in there are immune to everything but fire. So you have to extinguish the door with water and then go get fire elsewhere. There's a lot of cases in PAL where like you need to juggle your elements more than the NTSC version. It's one of my favorite changes of the PAL version. It's in the bucket. So ice is useful for catching boos. It's kind of like the vanilla way of keeping them in place because it freezes them. But if you start doing damage, they move. But combined with an R pump, the boos are pretty, like, entirely motionless between you doing damage in the R pump. So for those really, really fast boos that we don't want to R pump slowly on, we can afford to do that a little more easily. Oh, that one didn't expect. Oh, I shot the table. Didn't earn the first shot though, so let's try it again. Oh, that one hit actually. It disappeared, so it must have hit her. Luigi like kicked it right at her. Normally I like to cheat into the middle of the room, but I got lucky this time. You do not want to check this first because usually there's nothing in it. Oop, shake that please. So I'm gonna leave this guy like 40 HP and then spend my time opening that, and then I can do that chest or that key fanciness I was talking about in the music room where I can pull the key closer to the door as I'm catching the boo. Saves a couple steps. And that's only ice allows us to do that because we can keep the boo stationary. So here's another route change because the way we do this like upstairs hallway requires us to go back to get the ice later, so we don't have the ice. We don't clear, what is the order here? We don't clear Astral Hall last, is the point in this route. So we're going to use this mirror, actually, and then go upstairs. Save our ice for various things later. In NTSC, we would be walking back downstairs and going to do, like, the billiards room and stuff, because we'd be closer to those stairs. But we're so far away from those stairs, it makes sense to use that mirror work. I do not want to see that anywhere close to me. Mushrooms, 3 times as likely to spawn. We're probably going to see a lot more. I've been really fortunate on spawning them so far. They spawn out of furniture more often, but unlike NTSC version, they can spawn out of ghosts as well, which normally only boss ghosts can drop, only portrait ghosts can drop mushrooms if you hold them on the line too long. Time for my favorite sound in the game, by the way. I'd like to point that out. But any random ghost, when you successfully suck it up, can generate a mushroom in the PAL version, which is quite scary. Because when you're catching multiple ghosts at once, spawning one and landing directly on your head is not fun. Not too many things here. We're just going to dodge Henry, get him in the corner. Catch Henry first because he's just easier to manipulate. Oh, I did not mean to spawn that guy. Henry will run you over easily if you don't catch him first. But Orville just kind of flies around, so getting him out of the way is preferable. In other categories where we care about the pearls, Orville also generates the pearls, so having Henry out of the way guarantees that you can get them all. Sometimes I do want to clear these out, like now, because Luigi likes to lock onto everything except the ghost and the thing you're trying to lock onto, and that includes pearls. Gold bars, hearts, mushrooms. He just loves to look at stuff that he doesn't need to. So we get as many things out of the way as possible so his ADHD doesn't take over. See a flash, which means it's in one of these things, maybe both. It's not both. This Boo is also exceptionally fast. Having the ice helps, but sometimes even this 30 HP Boo can go out in the hallway. Appropriately, because that Boo's name is Turbo. So of course they're zooming. We get our first Boo text skip here. We can set that up. This one is guaranteed if you're not bad. Cool. I'm going to catch this guy and try to get the cloth off the bed at the same time. Or right after, actually. Good. So Egad completely forgets what he was doing and like forgets to call us because the last thing I sucked up was not the Boo. And we're free to just leave. You can leave. Nah, you think we're going to Clairvoya, but no. Muscle memory might kick in and say I gotta go to Clairvoya, but I don't have all the items yet from Mario. Gotta go take this long walk over here. This is our only chance to get that heart if we're low HP, but I'm doing really good. And skip Slim, one of the few rooms early that we're gonna skip. Oop, I did not mean to do that. This strat is officially wrong, so we're just gonna take the mulligan and start burning these guys down. I'm supposed to do a triple there, so... Doing a spin. Spin turns your back to all rooms, all parts of the room at the same time. So that gets all of these guys to show up. Hello, friends. And make sure that all... Oh, I'm low on ice. Okay, I got all but that guy. Used extra ice on that first cycle. Got a little weird, but we're fine. That room is quite scary if you don't have the ice because you can take a lot of damage fast. So there's our last Mario item, but this Boo is one we need, so I'm gonna try to get it below 100, ideally, and it's gonna go into the left side of the hallway. Left or up is good. In this category, going right is actually really bad. Because we don't light this room up. I don't have my ice. It's really important that I got it below 100 HP there. Okay, this is lit up, so this is not the end of the world. I really wish I had... Luigi, thank you. Would have liked to have opened that chest. It doesn't look like I'm going to be able to get that, though. I think I'm going to spawn this Boo. I'm going to try to spawn this Boo. Where is it? It's in the middle somewhere. Ah. Hate it when you like look for a Boo spawn for so long and it's just the fake. We're not one cycling this guy. He's gonna go out in the hallway, and the hallway is lit, so it's okay. I can never remember if you want to get this ice in this category. I don't think you care. But I'm gonna get it for safety because I do need ice. There's another place to get ice. Later, but I feel like it comes out mostly in the wash, since I had to go all the way to the other side of the room anyway. Okay, we have all the Boos we need, and now we're free to go to Clairvoya, where we start mashing. So all 5 of those Mario items we found, his hat, his star, his shoe, his glove, and his letter. We're going to hand them over to Clairvoya, the medium ghost, and again, for marathon purposes, I love to point out that this is a wonderful place for donations because I'm going to be pressing A and B for about 2.5 minutes. And apparently, shaking the table because Luigi is a rude dude. Okay, maybe I won't shake the table anymore. So the strat for catching Clairvoya is different from all the other portrait ghosts, because in order to catch Clairvoya, she, interestingly, wants to be caught. She's done her job in this realm, she's helped Luigi, and she's like willingly going into the vacuum. That's the point, or that's the lore. Gameplay-wise, that shows up as she has 0 pull away from Luigi, so she kind of drifts towards him because when you pull on a ghost, it moves towards you. It's just the way it works. and she kind of ends up on top of you. So in order to catch her, you kind of need to force her away from you and then pull back repeatedly. And the fastest way to do that is to hold into the corner with the left stick and then just twirl the crap out of the C stick. And it sounds like a joke. Like, surely it's not what it is, but it is. Intended strat. Because she's actually quite tricky to catch from a casual point of view. Lots of people will spawn mushrooms there, and if you spawn a mushroom on Clairvoya, you have a chance to lose her pearl, which is really, really bad because she's one of the easiest portrait ghosts in theory. I'm gonna save here, because the Safari room is one of the toughest rooms in the game, I think. It's one of the easiest rooms to take a lot of damage in, for sure. We are headed upstairs. And because we did not walk down the stairs last time, when we were last up here, we didn't open that shortcut door, which is opened by the key from Biff's room, by the way. If you hated Area 3 and 4, that's probably why. So I heavily encourage you to go find that key next time. But it's easy to remember easy to forget not to mash through that door opening animation. Cool. We need a lot of ice in this room. Like, every ghost in this room is immune to stuff other than ice. Oh, that guy took forever to show up. And I got hit by a mouse. The mouse are random, or the mice are random. So that was just unfortunate. I don't really need the health here, but I'm gonna... Look up, Luigi, dude. Okay. There's still a dude in the ceiling somewhere. There he is. I want these hearts, and then here's the fun part. So we're gonna see if we can get all 6 of these guys. Nice. And there, if you've been hurting throughout Area 3, that's your big health refill. All the health in the world right there. Far side of the room in the chair. This boo is actually quite fast too. I always underestimate this guy, but because you have ice, you don't really notice how fast it is. And a tendency to like walk it to the door kind of takes over sometimes. Okay, we are out and on to Boolossus. Boolossus is probably my favorite area boss changed in PAL. Because the change that happened is very silly. Hey Western, we're doing pretty good. We're recording the submission video. So, I've stopped a couple times to show some cool stuff. But still going fast. One interesting thing, like, how many minutes have I lost? Against the golds, which apparently are, like, you know, are not very good because I've only played this category 4 times. I've only attempted it 4 times. The golds are bad because they're not optimized yet for me. But not a lot of people play PAL. So it's really cool. By the way, we're just going to hop on the vacuum here. This is Boolossus. Yep, Luigi's just zooming now. Nobody really plays PAL because it's a bit difficult to, like, acquire the disc if you're not in Europe. Or Australia and any other places that got this version. So the strat is the same for Boolossus. We're just on the vacuum. Okay, that's everybody but one. Cool, we're out of there. That was a really good Boolossus. And the result is I think this is the most popular PAL category. By quite a margin. But not a lot of people invest a lot of time in this category because it's weird too. It's just, it messes with your muscle memory. If you're used to NTSC and have played NTSC version for probably hundreds of hours before you entertain the idea of getting the PAL version, the prospect of essentially relearning the game for what is essentially like kicks is usually not very high on people's lists. So I enjoy it a lot because it's more of the good stuff, like I said earlier. I just really like the way this game plays as a speedrun. Like, optimizing the movement and everything is the least interesting aspect to me. Reacting on the spot and like doing ad-lib stuff in the spur of the moment and making small adjustments and making plan Bs and things, and this category is full of that. The PAL version in general is full of that. You have to react to running out of element like I did in the projector room. You have to think about your health a lot more often. It's not just a free ride the whole way through. It demands you learn quite a lot of hard strats, so like it's a really good thing once you've gotten really good at the other version, at the NTSC version. It's a good time to relearn everything. And have to like teach yourself some harder stuff. I do need ice. I'm gonna do a pit stop here. I keep worrying because I don't have the normal usual number of boos I have that I remember. Normally you have 39 if you're going to have every boo before Area 4. Boo losses counts for 15, by the way. So I caught all of those boos on the roof or on the balcony, and I got 15 more than, what was it, 23. So I have 38 now. I need 7 more boos. But I was worrying because I thought I needed 39, but I did skip Slim on purpose. In the billiards room. I'm a baby and I'm going to switch to sidestep for this part because it's time for the blackout. Lots and lots of people around my skill level and probably below have learned a strat where you don't need the sidestep. But I never learned it. It doesn't save too much time. And it's really, really weird doing it mirrored anyway. So I'd have to learn it twice. Somebody say blackout. Cool, so the power's out, and EGAD just told us that somebody stole the key to the breaker room, so we can't turn the power back on. He gives us a hint if we were to go into the telephone room about who stole it. Says it's a dude named Uncle Grimly who loves mirrors. Here's a mirror. He's not in here, though. We're going back to the wardrobe room, because you might think, especially as a kid, mirrors, eh? There was a mirror room in the game earlier. But I said, when I cleared the mirror room earlier, that I never needed to see that room again. And I would be right, because Grimly is not in the mirror room, despite having, the largest mirror in the game. He prefers the cozy one of the, nature of this one. Is he going to be nice? He is. He has completely random chance to show his heart. I think the current record is 50-something seconds on waiting for him. Very atypical to wait more than 20. But monkeys on a typewriter, eventually you're going to roll the dice enough that you're going to get that unlucky. So we are headed down to the blackout, or the breaker room now. Turn the power back on with that key we got. The breaker room doesn't do anything for us before this part of the game. We can go in there. So it's a little weird that he locks it away. I think they're just trying to let you know where to go next. So the breaker boo one cycle, the one that lives in this room, the boo that lives in this room is notorious in the NTSC version. It's kind of very difficult to one cycle. It's the strat that people learn when they're starting to get good at the game, in earnest. It's the thing that I think is the first, expert to intermediate strat. But in this version, he has 100 HP instead of 200, so there is no strat, really, other than just R-pump fast. We have ice, too, so it's really easy. Breaker Boo is quite the pushover in this version. This next room, though, is not. And I've done this backwards again. I did have my own strat for this room that I am now trying to fix. This actually didn't blow up completely. There is a different way to clear. There's like multiple ways to clear these rooms. That's the cool thing about PAL as well, is that there's not really one super duper good strat. Because there's so many... Oh, mushroom, please. Oh, goodness. Because there's so many ghosts in all the rooms and there's like so many obstacles in the way. I'm saving this boo on purpose. You get a lot of varied strats. You're not just waiting on this is how you make this double and you optimize that double. When you have 6 ghosts in the room and you have to like shake furniture in order to spawn half of them, the strategies you can come up with in order to shake the furniture fast and get close to the key spawn and get all the ghosts fast, like in some kind of multi-suck up, there's just a lot more freedom to do that. And the harder rooms in the game kind of devolve into chaos no matter what you do. Like, we're going to see the rooftop very soon, which is, I would say, the hardest room in the game. And trying to optimize that is extremely hard. Because when you start sucking up the ghosts, you get pulled in random directions, and it's really hard to consistently get the same thing to happen every single time in the, cycle 3, I think it is. There's 3 cycles on that, in the rooftop. Right now we're doing a long walk. This is another great time for donations in a marathon setting. Because we haven't seen all this before, but it's pretty boring. It's just staring up at the ceiling. We're now in the new territory. We're not going to clear this room because the telephone room has the worst boo in the game. So we're just going to skip this dude. Twin soldiers are one of the casual killers. They take people's lunch money, but we're going to pull them into the corner and not have too many problems with them. Standing south of the red soldier before sucking him up, make sure that the green guy doesn't slack off and shows up on time. Get my iframes from sucking that guy up. There we go. Super good soldiers. There's a setup for a double in this room. I think I need to tap that. I do. This guy is the fastest boo, like second fastest boo in the game, maybe the first one. So I'm going to R-pump extremely fast. It only has 50 HP. Do not underestimate that guy. In the NTSC version, that guy has 300 HP, and he's one of the worst boos in the game. But in this version, he's not that bad. Egad just told us the worst thing in the game. He told us about Van Gore. Van Gore is the penultimate boss ghost in the game. And we don't want to hear about him because it's the longest thing Egad can tell us about. Okay. Can we get our 5-piece? Yes, we can. I'm going to try to get the guys over here first. Oh no. Okay, we're off script. That was almost really good. Oh, I should have burned that guy one more time, please. Okay. We're just gonna get the high HP ones out of the way first. That's the goal. Get the blue guy to show back up. Okay. I can probably make some kind of multi here, but I think it would be more effort than it's worth. So I'm just gonna burn those guys down. Oh, he's still alive. 1 HP. Okay, that third cycle, like I said, is usually just chaotic incarnate, but I got done with the second cycle so fast that it all turned out good. Didn't lose a lot of health there, too. Sometimes you can just get hit a ton. I think I want more fire. I do need a lot of fire in the armory room coming up. There's a lot of guys in the ceiling, and it's usually faster to burn them down because they have 0 HP. Now the armory boo here is a bit of a pain. Because it has 200 HP, I think. Oh, I didn't get that guy. There we go. And normally you can only one-cycle boos that have 150 HP or less. Unless you have some shenanigans, like with the Breaker Boo in NTSC version. But there are no shenanigans here as far as I'm aware of. So we're just going to have to let him leave and come back. And I really, really want this boo to go left. I'm gonna try my best to try to make that happen. Please don't go north. Oh, that's bad. Okay. So, since it went north, now it can go left from the north, and might make me go all the way over to the Clockwork Rim. Hopefully this guy goes down and I can fix this. But doing 120 HP in one cycle is difficult too. I want him to charge me. Here's the charge. Charge again, please. Come on. Oh my god, he's so fast. Okay, this guy's gone again. Dude, this is just really, really rude booze. This is probably the worst boo to deal with in terms of like getting optimal with it. There's the charge I wanted the whole time. I think I got too many cackles to do this though. Let's see if I can get out. Cool, got my save quit. Took a lot of damage there. So I'm gonna save and quit because I already got the key. See, looking for health. I'd like to save before I go into the pipe room. I need 45 boos. I'm gonna get the one in the cellar, the one in the pipe room, and the one in the cold storage. And then the final one in Van Gore. Okay, it's actually in the barrel, isn't it? Okay, I'm not gonna be able to get that heart, unfortunately. I think I can one cycle this boo though. If I get a save, it's just as good. Okay. So the pipe room is, I think, the second hardest room in the game. And I need an element because I save quit. I lose my element when I save quit. I'm gonna pick up this ice and see if I can avoid taking a lot of damage. Oh, I froze them all, but not in the way I wanted. There's another guy in the ceiling, isn't there? Or did I already get him? I think I didn't get him. No, I did. Oh, I'm gonna get hit. God. I noticed I didn't get the third twirler in there. So we're just gonna have a burn here. I'm really sad that I'm at 50 HP. Okay, I'm gonna need to freeze this lake. I'll just catch this guy. Maybe he'll drop a heart out of pity. Nope. So 50 HP is a bad number because I should have caught this guy first. If I don't one-cycle him, it's bad. I need to have more than 50 HP if I don't want to get one shot in cold storage. Because the icicles that fall on the ceiling, from the ceiling do 25 damage normally. And double damage, guess what? 50 HP and you're gone. And sometimes you just get really unlucky with the icicles. Because they fall randomly and you get dragged around randomly. So they made all the boos in this game really, really fast, except this guy. This guy is still as slow as molasses, like he is in the other version. But we can still do this fancy little strat where we like walk him between the doorway. Oh, he's gone. Completely gone. Okay, he needs to go right to be really kind. He's not going right. He's not really kind. So I'm not going to save quit out of this room now. I also am at 40 HP, which is even worse than 50. So I'm not going to get to save before this room. So this is one of the worst places to die, I think, because I would have to do pipe room again if I wanted to. Or if I died. Ugh. Got my one cycle, didn't get hit. I'm probably going to take a lot of damage from this boo. So 40 HP is still not very cozy. Get that key and slide. Okay, There's the boo. This is, I think, the fastest boo in the game. I'm actually doing very well at controlling it. It's just gonna vanish off the screen when it goes. Pretty much, yeah. Want this guy to go left again. Normally you just pray for a 3-cycle in this guy. 2-cycling this guy has only been done by a handful of people ever. Ah! This is a bad room to catch him in. I was hoping he would go to the right. I really wanted to get close to me. Oh, that's really good. He flew right into the vacuum. Wow, okay. Yeah, 3-cycle, totally fine with. Any other boo, you're like, 3-cycle. I should have 2-cycled it, not that guy. Can I get a heart? Yes, I can. 2 hearts. That's nice. I'm gonna go get the pipe room boo real quick. From here. It is hidden. It is hidden again because I left the room for too long. I think I might auto hide if I go 2 rooms away. Can't remember how that works. I think it's slower to save quit here. So I'm gonna do I want to save? I think I'm gonna save just because, you know, I'm doing a recording. Egad gave me Van Gore text again, which is really pertinent because we're going to Van Gore, actually. We got the key in cold storage. That leads us to Van Gore's room upstairs. Another great time for donations, by the way, because we're doing that same walk upstairs that we've done already. Fire. Oh, I went the wrong way because my brain is in NTSC mode. Normally you go right. So I did not warp out of basement. That split is donezo. Fire is fine. I just want to make sure I have enough fire for the final phase of Van Gore. Van Gore, if you don't know, sends waves of ghosts at you, like the basic ghosts, the orange ones, the pink ones, I think they're gold and purple actually, but I call them orange and pink, whatever. The twirlers, the grabbers, the shy guys, the garbage can ghosts, and then the ceiling guys at the end. And normally he sends waves of 3 at you, but this is PAL version, and we have an interesting relationship with ghosts in the PAL version. Nintendo was of the opinion that there weren't enough ghosts in this game, so they added a lot of them. We didn't get to see the sealed room, but there's, I believe, 8 ghosts in the sealed room that spawn simultaneously. It completely blows out the audio, and I'm pretty sure you can't even catch 8 simultaneously. The vacuum won't let you do it. So in the spirit of that, he sends waves of 5 at you in here. And that's a lot of HP for me if I get them all. But a lot of chances to get punched if I don't. Oh, I broke him off at 1. Thought I was doing pretty bad there. It's faster to suck the last ghost up than burn it, so even though 1 HP. Okay. These guys take about as long to burn as they do to catch because it takes so long to set up the multi. They're very awkward to catch too. Now these guys have 20 HP, just like the last guys. But they clump way more than the grabber ghosts. I'm not close to these garbage can ghosts, hopefully I can get positioned fast enough. Oh, only got 3, it's unfortunate. Cool, Luigi did not slip on that banana peel. Normally if you stay still, it's less likely that he will. Like, it'll just go straight into the vacuum if you're not moving. Finish those guys off with the fire. Good job. Pretty good Van Gore. And then he doesn't put up much of a fight by himself. Zut alors, which they don't say in French, by the way. This guy has, I believe, supposed to be French. Even though he's based off of, I believe, a Dutch artist? I don't know. I don't know what they're going for here. This is the last boo we need. It has more than 150 HP, so it's going to have to leave the room. And we're just going to save quit after this. So we're guaranteed to have a good save before King Boo if we happen to die, which is likely. We got our key, so we're good to go. So King Boo is, in my opinion, one of the hardest parts of the game. Some people might disagree with me on that because it really depends on how good you are at doing what we call insta-shots. Insta-shots are what you do when you shoot the spike ball at King Boo earlier than you're supposed to. Normally, you cannot reach King Boo's head unless... sorry, King Boo wears a Bowser suit. He's cosplaying during this boss fight. And normally you can't shoot the head off the Bowser cosplay without it bending over to breathe fire or do a suction attack. Which I guess is kind of a precursor to Bowser's Inside Story now that I think about it. Normally you can't aim the spike ball up at all, so he has to come to you. He has to bend over and give you the shot. Which is classic Nintendo boss design. You have to wait until the boss lets you hit it. But you can get around that by pre-aiming right at his head, and then right as you grab the spike ball, Luigi takes a moment to reset his angle down to where it's supposed to be. And if you shoot the spike ball right when you grab it, you can shoot it up, right at his head, which allows you to bypass the main gimmick of this fight, which is the spike balls blow up quickly. In fact, they blow up quicker than, like, you can actually... They blow up faster than he bends over. So you have cycles where he'll throw spike balls, and you literally can't do anything unless you do an insta-shot. And the spike balls do double damage, and he has a combo attack that does 50. So if you mess one of them up, you take basically all of your health. And it becomes a game of waiting for the boss to let you win. And it wastes a ton of time, depending on how unlucky you are. So fingers crossed we get the insta-shot. There's one. I do need to hit the second one. The second one's the most important, because that's the cycle that actually sucks. Got him below 250. That's good. Should be a good angle. Alright, there's my second insta-shot. Ah, okay, it's not going to be a 2-cycle. He was below 200 before I noticed, or before I messed up, so we're going to have the head going backwards. We get to do a little bit of chaos. If I messed up before it went below 200 HP, I wouldn't have had to let that happen, and I could have done another insta-shot. But the lucky thing is, if I do the third cycle like this, it's guaranteed to be good. So it's not complete disaster like it would be if, like, I messed up the second one or something. And we're done! That was a really impressive run. I don't even remember what my PB was. What was I comparing against? I have to go back and see the video just to know, because I've only done this a couple times. I haven't submitted a run to the leaderboards because I didn't think any of them were good enough. Mash through this final text. Time does stop on King Boo. In other categories, you have to count the money. But in this category, we don't care about money. So technically this is game over. I just want to see the cutscene because the music in the credits is awesome. Was I not timing? Because I'm looking at the comparison here and it's like, it's nothing. I think it was nothing the whole time. Well, who knows how fast I went, or how fast I went before. That is definitely a good run then, because it's the first one that has a recorded time apparently. Interesting. Let's find out where that is on the leaderboard, because I mentioned earlier that not a lot of people play PAL. So this time is probably a lot better than I think it is relative to everyone else. 111.13, or sorry, 33, just barely outside of top 12. That's a pretty good time. We're not, you know, getting turned around multiple times, going to see, like, show off a couple optional things, like picking up the diamond, completely forgetting a strat in a room or two. Not bad. Another one in the books. So it was like 38 completions on the file. Every time you beat the game, if you save, you get to keep the file completion. It increments the number. I'm working towards 100 on this file, or this version. I have a memory card. It's actually the same memory card, where I load up the English version, and I have 100 completions there. And I did 100 completions on the Japanese version as well. So if I can get 100 completions on all three versions, I would have basically like the perfect save file, for lack of a better word. The other thing you can do is get all the money in the game. Like, there's a finite amount of money in the game, and if you max it out, we call that max percent. I can do that on PAL. I guess I can do that on the English version as well. So I can get the truly perfect save file with everything. It's a cool little thing to strive for. I really like the PAL version. I think I definitely explained pretty much everything I wanted to. I've been playing this game for nearly 5 years, and I mean, I've been playing it for decades, but speedrunning it for like 5 years almost. And after 3 or 4, you know, you kind of want something a little more challenging, something a little weirder. Sometimes you want to be thrown back into chaos, and I think the PAL version consistently gives you chaos, and sometimes some people might not like that because you optimize your speedrun, you want it to be a certain way, and making it intentionally hard for yourself might not be what you're looking for, but I think it's a great category to show off. It's been featured almost never in marathons because nobody really runs it. I've been trying to submit it to various things. I played the 100% category for Frost Fatales 2024 recently and had a blast. I think that was the first time it ever got on the GameStone Quick channel, the PAL version specifically. And hopefully I can get this category shown somewhere too, because this category has its merits as well. It's got a really interesting route, especially compared to the NTSC version, but also compared to the 100% version. It's like an intermediate between everything else. It's got its own place, and needing to go in a certain way is just interesting. Memorizing another route. It also forces you to learn all your backups too, knowing where all the hearts are, knowing where you can spare time to go get stuff like that. I really appreciate not having like good knowledge of your backups. It forces you to think on your feet. Because I like to do no reset runs. I don't like to mess something up and immediately say, well, we go again. I want to get a run that just organically comes together, and learning all the backups helps me slowly learn the game while still having fun in my book. There's not much music in this game, but this credits music is one of my favorites. I think I'm going to let it play out. Usually I'm in this awkward position of, how do I end the video without just turning my microphone off and waiting for the credits to roll, but I think I filled enough space. One day I'm going to get the worst mansion you can get, which is just a tent. I think you have to get less than 5 million, which is almost impossible if you're intentionally clearing pearls to make way for the booze. So I usually end up with this one. This is the dinky little G-rank mansion. It's a house. Luigi's little house on the hill. Yeah, thank you much for watching. If you're watching this as a submission video, I don't think I'm going to make this live on YouTube, so thank you. Thank you for sitting around and stream if you thought this was interesting. And yeah, I'll end the recording here. Enjoy the picture of my cat.